Hello, I am Schroeder. I am a priest with the Society of the Divine Word. I teach at Catholic Theological Union in Chicago. I have been doing this type of work on interculturality now in a very strong way in the last 6 years. And during this time, I started out with my own congregation. So I began already in 2015 to have a program. And then also together with the sisters later, 2016, 2017. I'm currently involved in a 2.5-year program in Chicago with 20 religious congregations, 15 women and 5 men's congregations. So those are working with the people there at that time. The program we're doing here at UISG is a continuation, but it's also new challenges because with this we now have more sisters from an international basis and doing it in 4 different languages. And so working across languages, but languages also represent different peoples and different nationalities and continents. And so I've really enjoyed this. For me, interculturality is an urgent need for us in religious life. And because in religious life, we need to be able to witness to what it means to be mutually enriched by others. Not just tolerating, but mutually enriched. This is important for us personally, but we also need to be it is a prophetic sign for our church and for our world today, to see that people of difference can actually be mutually enriched. That's why it's so important. I have a lot of passion for this. I see the importance because I also see the brokenness. I see the prejudice. I see the walls. So for me, what we're doing is so important. And working with the UISG is just, it's a real honor for me to work with all these different women's congregations at this time. I think for the sisters now, some particular challenges they have, part of it is because of their internationality. In the U.S., when I work on a program, there are people of different cultures, but they all share English. They work in the same country, even though they come from different countries. These congregations, they work in many different countries. So for example, even for the core teams, some of them don't share a common language they can work with. That was shocking for me the first time I realized that. So I think that represents the diversity that they need to overcome or work through. It's a richness, but you need to be able to communicate, and language is essential. So for me, I think for them to figure out what are we going to do internationally. I think another challenge that the sisters have here is, which is common all the time, is to find something that is manageable. You know, what projects do they do? Find something where they can start. Start with where they're at, what are their situations, and then to say, what's the next step? Because sometimes people go too big and they get overwhelmed. So they need to find pieces and figure out. And a part of that then is what we talk about developing a critical mass. Critical mass means you need to have a certain proportion of people in your congregation with voice and energy. It doesn't have to be over 50%, but you need to have a sufficient group of people in order to make a change. And that group of people need to be convinced and motivated and have a strong enough influence to broader community.